So let's make a bass sound. As you could probably tell, I'm slowly crafting the elements to actually create an actual tune. So I need a good bass sound, and the kind of sound I've got in my mind is a nice kind of just snappy bass line, which can be very quick and punchy, but if the note is held on, then it kind of evolves and it does some interesting stuff. So we're going to load up an instrument rack as usual to build our sound in, and I'm going to use operators for this one as well. First thing we need to do is find a good sub sound. Actually, let's draw some notes in. Let's draw some low notes down. Let's just go. Just so we've got some notes to work with while we're making this bass sound. So, as usual, the operator is playing. We've got one oscillator and it's a sine wave. I'm going to use this one just as the sub. And so let's bring the chorus down so we've got a really nice low sub. That sounds good. And let's just give it a little bit of punch by adding a pitch envelope. So adding the pitch envelope, having the note slightly pitched up when the note plays. We want to bring the decay time back so it's a bit quicker. If we bring this right up, you can hear that's kind of how we got the kick drum before. But we don't want it so dramatic. We just want it, I don't know, maybe around 50%. So it's kind of got a punch to it. And let's just bring the peak down a little bit. If I turn that off, you can hear the difference. Just gives it a bit of a punch. Okay, that's all good. Let's add another operator. For a start, let's work on the sound that's going to evolve when the note's held on. We'll work on the actual punchy high ends of the sound in a minute. So let's call this tail. And what we need to do first is let's chuck an EQ8 at the end of it, turning the first pole into a high pass. So we've got no subs and cut it off around, I don't know, 200 Hertz or so. Let's go 150. So is our second operator. Let's just solo the tail for a second. And let's make this 2 detuned square waves. Always good and always safe. Let's go to the routing area, set it so they're all coming out so we can mix the 2 waveforms together rather than have them modulate each other. One modulate the other. Let's go over to our waveform and let's pick a square wave, square D. All good. Bring the chorus down. Excellent. And then let's turn the level up on this one, which is just a sine wave. Bring the chorus down and change it to a square. Let's detune and fine tune a little bit. Excellent, but we want that to sneak in if the note's held down, so we'll do that by adding a filter onto it. And we'll give the filter some attack. Make sure the envelope is set up. Bring the filter down so it's quite a low value. Let's make it the lowest it could be. Bring the sustain time up so it stays there. Give it some more envelope. We can change the curve a bit. I kind of like the slope. Alrighty. And let's do the old filter delay trick to give it a bit of space. Just changing the fine tune a little bit. And let's even give the amplitude a bit of envelope. Both of them. Just so the note doesn't sound on the start. It's pretty cool. I'm going to give it a slight reverb as well. Let's give it a bit of space. Excellent. So there's our tail. Let's add another operator, and we'll make this the kind of the punchy part of the bass, so it'll play alongside the sub. Again, we need to, we'll call this punch. Kind of created my own system of naming stuff and doing these videos. It's quite fun. Need to add an EQ8 after it, of course, and do the same high pass. Cut it off about 150, so we don't interfere with the sub. So here it is here. Let's make this a saw wave. Turn on a filter. And let's give it some envelope. Bringing the course down again, because we're working in the bass. So that sounds. Sounds pretty good. I'm just going to change the routing again. Let's bring in another. Let's bring in a square an octave above, very, very subtly. See how that sounds. What about an octave below? Just have a listen. I like an octave above. Let's try a saw. Sounds pretty good. Play some notes. Let's make that tail go away when it reaches its top. Oops, we have to change the filter. We can change the curve of how it actually dies. I think I'd prefer it like this, so it slowly sneaks away. Actually, that was kind of cool. Back to this punch, just going to play with this filter a little bit more. Maybe give it a tiny bit of white noise. Sounds good. I might, just for really long notes, I'm going to add in another operator. I'm going to call this one tail 2. Turn the oscillator to a square, and let's put a high pass filter on this one. High pass 24. Give it some LFO. So take the LFO destination off the oscillators and just turn it onto the filter here. Set it to sync so we can sync it with the beat, and something which is slightly offbeat. Let's change it to a saw wave down, so the shape, instead of going smoothly in a sine wave, it's going to have a saw wave which goes down, straight up, down, straight up. It's going to oscillate. So it's going to have the frequency high, it's going to slide it down, but then it's going to bring it straight back up high again. There's going to be no smoothness when it goes back up high. Let's make it a bandpass 24. Just like before, don't forget to put an EQ8 after it. Oops. You can use an auto filter if you want. I just like using EQ8s in case I decide to go back later and want to muck with some stuff. And we've already got the LFO changing the frequency, but let's give it some pitch envelope, filter envelope as well, so it actually how are we going to do this? We'll give it some tech. Give it a negative envelope. Just trying to find a sweet spot so you can kind of get it sweeping with the LFO. So we'll have, how about now we have no attack. And we'll also make this curve up like this so it comes in quite late. Even a bit shorter. Not that short. And let's give the envelope of the oscillator a bit of time, so again, so it doesn't come in straight away. It's about finding that sweet spot, isn't it? Let's see how that sounds all together. Let's give a reverb to that tail too. Tail of this one, the filter envelope, this is sustain time could even be lower and longer. How about we add something after this? Let's give it a phaser. This is after tail 2. 8 poles. I like 8 poles. Whatever, man. It's quite cool to play with that, isn't it? So that's going to be obviously mapped to a macro knob. So macro knobs. So that was the LFO rate. So we'll call that, so where are we here? LFO rate, let's map that here. We'll call that tail to rate. Very cool. So we've got a nice punchy bass. And a cool tail on it. Let's map some other stuff. What happens to this tail if we just bring up the level of the... That's pretty cool. So, what if we go to the level, bring it up, and have a long attack on it, so the level slowly comes in. That's pretty cool. Change the course. Let's map the course, I like that as well. So we'll map that, we'll call it tail FM course. I think we should have a just a level option as well, just so we could turn that FM off if we want FM level. Excellent. Tail level. What else we got? The subs are good, I'm happy with that. The tail, we change the G-tune sounds good. What about the resonance? That sounds a pretty good one. So let's map this, the resonance to here. We'll call that tail res. Should put tail 2 in here. What else we got over here? We've got our left right. Let's assign these two of these filter delay to one knob. On this one here, we'll map it there, and we'll change the values. So this one is, say, 15 milliseconds and 1 millisecond. This one is 1 milliseconds and 15 milliseconds. So as we sweep this knob, get rid of that info box for you. As we sweep the knob, you're not going to be able to show you. This value is going to go from 15 to 1. This one's going to go from 1 to 15, which will create a bit of a nice spatial effect, hopefully. create space. And so there'll be tail space. Let's assign the decay time of the tail so we can make it longer. So map mode, decay time of the filter, decay time. So that's tail time. Not the decay time, my bad, the attack time. There we go. So if it's on 0, we got none of it. Cool. And let's do something with the punch. What do we got here? Do the punch filter. Go punch filter. And we'll go white noise level. Punch white. So there you have it. Just make a longer clip and just do some big notes. Big long note, little loose. I'll make it big and long. Oh, that's incorrect. That's the white noise one there. So let's get rid of the macro of that one and assign it to that one instead. I reckon just a little bit less pitch envelope on the sub. Sounds good. I might actually change the EQ a little bit of the punch. I could do with something else, I think. Maybe going a bit over the top now, maybe a little bit of a chorus over it. Very low, dry, wet. Very low noise. Just to warm it up a bit. And even, just for fun, let's put a saturator before the chorus. Nah, saturator's too much, I think. happy with that. So there's my my bass line. Bit of fun. It's quite over the top, but it kind of gives the option of being able to have a short punchy bass, but you're able to continue on and hold the note if you want to have something which is evolving. I look forward to having fun playing with it. Don't know what I'm doing with these colours here. I just like colours. Maybe a greeny one. Excellent. So that's bass, and it's called Barry. And we'll drag Barry in there. Excellent. TomCosm.com.